Hello, everybody. Welcome. Wow, we got 7 people on already. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's daily tune in. I'm looking a little bland today because it's been a day. It's been a couple of days. It's been a year. But yeah, I'm gonna wait for a few minutes. Well, not minutes, but a few more seconds for people to get on here. But thank you all for being here and waiting for this. It's very exciting. I did put a little question in the chat because I want today to be less information. There's a lot of information shared over the course of this week, and I'm going to kind of pull that together into what happens next. But the most biggest question I want to address anything that you might have going on of how you're feeling or how you're experiencing this week's energies right now. We had a pretty large, well, it was moderate, but for us, a moderate solar flare is kind of a big deal. And a pretty moderate solar flare was released earlier today. So we're going to be feeling the solar winds from that, which amplifies the effects it has on our planet as well as us. And then that combined with the big energies that we are in, that is now our reality. Those big energies are kind of compounding with the solar activity that we're having, and it's amplifying everything. It's amplifying the good. It's amplifying. Hey, Cam. Hey, Mister. So sorry about that. I have this habit, and in this past year, I'm gonna just gonna say this just while we're waiting for people to get on. I tend to talk to people. I'm like, hey, lady, like what's going on or whatever, and so I made and this past year I've gotten a lot more. I've tried to get better about doing that because with all of the stuff in the world, and the gender roles have become blurred in some places. And of course, the one time I do it, I pulled it out on an Instagram post, and the person came back like, it's Mister. And I was like, oh God. So sorry about that. So sorry about that. Isabel, hi Isabel, welcome. Thank you for being here. Okay, so let's jump in. Hello from London in the house. Kazembe, hello. I love the dancing. I like this energy because I got on here feeling pretty blah today. Good morning, beautiful soul. Thank you, Carol. You guys are gonna make me cry. I was telling my husband and I were having a long conversation right before I got on this call because we're in the funk of being in or seeing, not being. I don't want to say I'm being it, but I kind of have been in it today, but feeling the intensity of the darkness, so to speak, in all the ways that come. So the emotions that it triggers within us, but the activity and the behavior of the fragmented souls we've been talking about. So the fragmented souls are the people that have kind of been overtaken by darkness, really, which is fear, right? There's love that means in the light, and we have light, which is knowledge, which is wisdom. And anyone that has light and knowledge acts from a place of love, and love is that place of acting from light. And then we have fear, which is all the different portions of fear, which is guilt and shame and anger, resentment, and all of those dark entities, which is really entities that are fear. They're fragmented pieces of the soul that have cut away from the soul out of the light and now act from a place of fear. And that darkness is really being spurred right now. We've talked about how this is coming, but now that we're in it and kind of seeing how it's coming at us, and allowing ourselves to be triggered by that darkness, because wherever we're triggered is just us to be able to see what is still within, for us to eliminate, to purge. This is the great purge we've been talking about. And that said, though, it's exhausting. It's exhausting to hold that line of light and not react and be able to respond. And it's coming from all directions. My husband had a message from someone from like from years ago past that was so random, but just came up. And he was like, this is so crazy. Like, why is she coming back in? But again, a fragmented soul. And then, there's social media. There's a lot of eruption on there. So with the holding the line of seeing ourselves in a place of a sovereign space, right? Being in the space of sovereignty and allowing this stuff to come in and bounce off, or if we allow it to come in and be triggered by it, still not reacting to it, but allowing ourselves to work through whatever's being triggered, because there's something that's being triggered there. So that's our space. In the title of this daily tune in is what's next, after kind of getting through all of the information, all of the wisdom and light that was shared throughout this week on the daily tune ins. What has been happening? What has been preparing us for this time right now in 2022? Because this final purge of the darkness has to take place. Plus, seeing all of the new disclosure news that is coming, and there's a lot boiling up about a lot of the deception and, quite frankly, the lies and the manipulation that has been seeding this time. And a lot of them now are coming to they're irrefutable. Much of it is irrefutable, and people are still arguing for it. So there's a lot of disruption right now, and disruption freaks people out, especially fragmented souls that are still very much operating mostly in that old paradigm we've talked about that is falling. So, or that has already fallen, but now it's dismantling. So many of these fragmented souls are freaking out because all parts of them, their whole operating system now is now debunked, or it's dismantling. So it's, and what it's like when you have a computer that is fully corrupted with files, and how slow it is. And you can barely get through it, and the fan in it goes like zzz, as it like works, it like runs in place to do its work. And if you've ever had an old computer and how frustrating it is, you don't even know it. Like, I mean, it's frustrating, but then when you get a new one and you see how, like, what an updated system looks like, and you're like, holy crap, how long I lived with that outdated system. All of the fragmented souls who've been operating on those old paradigms, on that old energy grid that is now no longer being fed, they are now in that frustrated freak out. Oh my God, I've got to lash out, because in fear, you react, right? In light, we respond with love as best we can. And that's our practice right now on holding the line in the best possible way. We can still stand in our truth. We can still speak our truth, but we do it without insulting others. We do it without, we do it with the greatest form of love that we can, and still protect our boundaries. So this is going on out over here, and these souls and these systems are freaking out and are truly like becoming really obvious, right? Really obvious. And those of us over here who have a higher perspective, okay, no one's better or worse. I'm not saying anything to that point. It's just like when we stand in our truth, the truth takes us higher. And our truth is going to continue to change. So that is what's happening right now in the mass awakening. It just means that truth is rising up into a higher and higher peak and alignment with source energy, which is full illumination, right? Full enlightenment. So, and it's like this spiral. I did a video on it a couple days ago. And for those that are at the bottom levels of a fear-based program, their truth is their own, and it's right where they stand. It is exactly what they see. As we rise up and more people start to awaken to a higher truth, they rise up almost like going up a mountain. So then when you go up, a couple hundred yards on a mountain, you have a different perspective. You see more than you do when you're standing at the bottom of a mountain. And at that point, you're like, this is the truth of what I'm seeing. It's actually a little bit wider. There's more than I thought there was. And you try to tell the people that are down here at the very, very bottom of the mountain, and they're saying, no way, that's not what I'm seeing. That's not what you're lying, or you're crazy. You don't see that. And you're like, yeah, I do. And then you spiral up and you see even more because your viewpoint opens up even more. And you're like, whoa, actually, I didn't even know that existed. And now I can see that there's a town way over there. What is that town? And then you're like, hey, there's a town over here. That's my truth. That's what I see. And these people still at the bottom are like, there's no town. We're miles away from a town. So if you can understand that our perspective, your truth is consistently growing and rising and becoming more and more succinct. So when we reach that peak of enlightenment, which I'm not quite sure we ever like reach it here in physical form on this planet, it used to be that once you reached it, you reached such high levels of frequency that you left the body and your consciousness went on, right? But now where we are going in frequency, where we are able to go that we were never been able to go in human form on our planet, into that 5D frequency that is now readily available, we can rise up even higher to where the masters, the ascended masters in physical form, couldn't do it before. So like, I don't really know what that world looks like living in physical form, but the higher we go, the more we'll know, right? The higher you go, the more you know. That's actually that's kind of cool, actually. But I like rhyming. But when you get to those higher levels, the truth expands because your perception can expand. So this is why we've got to hold the line. If you are up here and you've got people coming at you from a place of fear, which sometimes is anger, which is aggressiveness, and it can be kind of yucky, can feel really yucky. The holding the line means you hold the line where you are. You don't drop back down and come down and be like, no, you don't know what I just saw. You don't come back down the mountain to scream with your hands on your hips as to what you just saw. You stay at that level so that you can continue to see what you do and allow them to have their space to come up into that. Whether they do or not is their choice. No matter, even if this is your spouse, if this is your brother, your sister, holding the line means holding your boundary to allow them to have their own journey. It is not ours to save anybody. And that is the hardest freaking thing. If we are like completely in love with people and we love our family, we love our friends, and we're afraid to keep rising up because we don't want to leave them behind, that's the greatest pain, and yet the greatest growth that we can give ourselves is to continue to rise up, because the higher we go, there comes a point, I'm hoping, but I also believe, like, I haven't gotten there yet, but I firmly believe this, y'all, because remember we said yesterday, in consciousness, there comes a point when you don't have proof. You just have the knowing, that inherent knowing that comes from source consciousness. That's where I'm at now, that if I just keep going, there comes a point when the ones down here just see how at peace you are, and how your life is growing, and how your life is adjusting. And there's no longer the resistance as much, because you grow so much. I don't want to say higher and lower, but that's the only way I can come up with the thing, with the metaphor. But as you go up, there comes a point when the resistance has to fall, because you're just so out of resonance that they will either choose to finally meet you where you are eventually, or just stay in that place. But the choice to like have the resistance, you're like, I could go back down and save them, or I'm telling you right now, it's not yours to do. So it's much better to cut the tether and just keep growing and keep going, and allow that resistance to finally pass, so that it gives them the choice to see that you're going somewhere. And you keep saying, I'm telling you, from my perspective, it gets better and better and better. Just let go of the fear, let go of the power that you're holding is putting power in other things. And eventually, whether you are the messenger or they finally get another messenger of consciousness, of letting go. They will meet you if it is in your both of your soul programs to meet again or to be in this lifetime together. But I know that letting go of that and riding that wave of trust is one of the hardest things, but that's what it means to hold the line. And our job from here on out is to hold the line. Hold the consciousness that you have at the very least. At the very least. And I know there are days where I'm like, I don't want to grow in consciousness. I don't want to go any farther in frequency, because the further I go, the harder it seems to get. And those are the days to be like, okay, those aren't the days now. Like now, remember we've talked on daily tune-ins about you have to descend to ascend. There is a time for that. And then there are the days to just be like, I'm not descending. I'm not going there. I'm not, because I know that I can't. There are the days where you choose not to descend because you don't have the power on that day to respond to the trigger, as opposed to it's an easy day for to react, and that just takes you lower. So this is where discernment comes in, like where, and that's why I asked you guys, like, where are you, how do you feel, so you can start to really come into tuned with how do I hold the line today. Is this the day that I feel pretty good and I rise up even more? Is this the day that for me personally, today is the day I just hold the line. It's all I can do, because there are souls that want to pull me down. And if I went down, I'm not feeling strong enough today to descend and come back up. I would get pulled down into the gunk. So today I'm just holding the line as best I can. And it might be in an hour things start to look up and I'm like, okay, I'm doing good. Let's go for a walk and let's start to breathe in that holy breath again, have faith in that holy breath, and start to rise up again. So I want to see, actually, I want to kind of go back really quickly, because I did say there was something that happened last night. I saw, and when it comes to the Schumann resonance, y'all, I've talked about this quite a bit, but I use that now more as a guide. But yesterday, so it's not as accurate. I have the feeling it's not as accurate as I would like it to be, or that we all want it to be. And I don't really know like how that works on the end of the technology. But I do believe that the energies that we are in are so different that it has it cannot really like, it doesn't understand them, so it doesn't pull in the correct data. But there are days when I'm like, man, there's stuff coming, I can feel it, and I'll go just to see. So yesterday I was feeling like wiped out yesterday, wiped out last night. So I got on there and I saw this interesting, it's on the thumbnail for this video, but I saw an interesting occurrence and I was like, "Oh, what is that?" And immediately I got the information on it. So I want to show it to you. So we had this weird thing the other day, a couple days ago, and was like one of those ascension columns that I talk about. But then there was this, and this green represents like the healing light. Okay. And so we have a lot of it, and it's kind of hard to see from my phone with the light right there. But there was this column, and immediately I got that our collective is being scanned. And so as and what was given to me was this, if you going into an MRI, for anyone who has gotten one, or if you haven't, you know what it is, and you know what it looks like. And most people have the experience of it. It's not very pleasant. But when you go into an MRI, you are scanned from head to toe in most cases, and they scan your body for any abnormalities, or anything like the densities in the body. So what this scan was done to every human being in our collective. I get this like goopy thing on my caps lock button that all of a sudden caught my eye, and I wasn't going to be able to concentrate without like scraping it off. I don't know what it was. But so this scan is all about scanning us to see where we are energetically. because we can already see in our outer world that things are ramping up. We can feel that there is a crescendo coming. I don't know if that means there's like a one-off event that's going to like put the whole world into, into I want to say chaos, but as we've talked about on today's daily tune in, or this week's daily tune in, that chaos is about the shift and the change that needs to like shift us all into the light, into that mass awakening. We're already in it, it's gradually happening, but I do believe that this year and in the next few weeks and in the next couple of months, there's going to be a grand shift of, and it could just be like information after information, disclosure after disclosure, and it could just be like walloping us, or it could be an event. I'm not sure. Again, nothing to fear. Although there might be a large point of the collective that will be in fear, because there's still a lot that are operating in that old paradigm, like we were talking about, and that is when we hold the line of consciousness and just hold the light, hold the energy of where we are in frequency, because that is our job. That is our job, is to hold that consciousness. So, and hold the consciousness of that this is in our highest and best good. This is for the betterment of our entire globe. This is for the freedom and the liberation from our individual lives and the individual darkness that each of us have faced, as well as globally. So this scan was a scan almost energetically to see where each of us are in vibration, in frequency. So they, meaning our helpers, whether we can call it the Galactic Federation, the Company of Light, our angelics, our teams, our guides, whatever works for you, this collective of excuse me, divine beings, other dimensional beings that are helping us in this mass awakening. I'm going to take a sip of my tea real quick. They are wanting to make sure that collectively we have the power, the inner power, to hold that line consciously. We are so close that at this point they're doing the final I want to put it in terms that we would understand, like the final provisions to make sure that we are ready. And again, I don't know what this is going to look like, and it's ominous enough to for me too, but again, not ominous and like, oh, I'm afraid. It's more like, let's get this show on the road. Like, I'm ready to hold the line. I get enough now. And the kind of the waiting and the preparation, we're all kind of just tired, right? We're ready for the next up level. We're ready to go to work, so to speak, energetically and consciously. So this scan was to make sure, as a collective, each of us is ready, each of us is prepared. It was also then looking to at the fragmented souls too. Okay. So when they did the scan, I got the idea of Voldemort. You know how in Harry Potter, Voldemort was the fragmented soul. He's gotten so far from the light that he had disconnected entirely from his soul. So he had to suck blood or suck the soul out of beings of light like Harry Potter, in order, which was his grand scheme, was to get to the soul of Harry Potter so that he could artificially power himself. So we have those people. You've got people around you that suck the soul out of you, right? Those are fragmented souls that need to suck it out of somebody else, suck the light out of somebody else. And those of us in higher consciousness who are holding the line have more light now in our consciousness. Therefore, we're like the light, moth to light. Those fragmented souls now are coming up, and they're looking for sustenance in any way, and they are looking for someone to suck the soul out of. So that's what my husband and I realized when that person came out of his past, like years ago, and we've been together for 5 years, and so this has been like, this person came out from 5, 6, 7 years ago, and he was like, whoa, this is crazy. I'm like a moth to a flame, babe. Like they're coming. These fragmented souls are now like out of their own power. And this has happened globally as well. We see this in our systems. We see the people who have had a lot of artificial power that are now starting to fall. Their power is being sucked out and sucked out by more and more light being exposed to them. And so this is happening all around. So if you have individuals that are coming at you, it's simply because you are holding more light. And like Voldemort, he is like almost dying and needs some kind of sustenance. That is what it's going to take for us to hold that line and not allow our power, our true power, which is the gold mine, the gold of light, to be siphoned from us. So the holding the line is what comes next for us. And holding the line means do not let people suck it out of you. You hold the line by holding your boundaries. So the scan also had to collectively scan each of the fragmented souls to see how low on power are they. Do we have enough in between, enough space in between the light holders, right? The awakened light holders that can hold this line, while down here the fragmented souls are running out of power. So when your computer's on like 5%, you're like, oh God, I better get my thing. So when you're at 5%, you're running around frantic, looking for your power cord so you don't lose. This is how the fragmented souls are operating right now. They're on their last power and they're freaking out, right? But we can't be the ones that are helping them restore their power by giving of our light or giving of our energy to them. So, the company of light, our guides, we're just making sure in this scan that we have enough power to hold the light while this takes care of itself. So after you're done an MRI, a lot of times it's stressful. There's a lot of energy that goes into it to like keep your mental shit together while you're in that like little tunnel thing, and all the all the noises are going on. You're like, oh my gosh, and you got to breathe, and you got to do a lot of work during that MRI. So when you're done, you're exhausted. So it made sense when I got the whole download about the scan that happened, the energetic scan. It made sense why I was so wiped out last night. So I was like, okay, that was pretty stressful to get that energetic scan. But at the end of it, many of us are going to get a clean bill of energetic health. We're good to go. We can hold that line and we move forward. So hopefully that helps a little bit with some of the things that you might be experiencing. So that's why I asked what some of you are experiencing. So let me go look and see what you got. Morning from Mexico. I spent five months in Mexico this year. And we road trip 2,000 miles through Mexico earlier this year. It was pretty awesome. We got Canada, yay! I'm feeling the intensity. Plus, I'm down with the sea. A very intense lesson. Interesting. That sea is one of the biggest lessons we've been through. There's a lot that I want to say on that, but a very intense lesson. I hear that, Paul. Keep going. Hold the line on that as well. So there's the possibility of falling into the fear that has really been attempted to build it into something. And then what I also know is there have been plenty of people that I have personally known who have gotten it, who I know are beings of light and have sailed right through it. Really close family members and friends who have sailed right through it, kind of, felt bad. And what I have seen in my own experience is those who have that higher consciousness have just allowed it to pass through the body and have gone on. And so I know, Paul, that the best and the highest is unfolding for you. And there is so much love and light coming from this group to you to heal all parts of you, from every cell to every particle in your body is now coming up in frequency and allowing that illness to just fall out of your body and out of your mind, out of your mental and energetic strata. And just like that, you are healed and you are held in this beautiful circle in the healing vibration. And so it is. Good morning, Southeastern PA. Excited for what you have to say because I experienced all of that scan, and this it's so exciting. Yeah, Isabel, that I'll tell you what, I'm pretty in tune with these energies now. And man, I was just sitting on the couch last night, and I was like, oh my god, honey, I was like, and he was kind of just but I could feel I just get walloped, and when I got walloped, I know that there's something big happening. What's NRF2 activation? Haven't heard of that. Is that something I said? I don't know what that is, Carol. If you could clarify what that is. NRF2. I'm not sure. So let's go back up to Lorraine. I'm glad I caught this live already, having a day here at 9 a.m. I feel so much chaos inside me. I feel like I'm the one dismantling. And we are. I'll come back to that. I have not been watching the news or social media past couple days. Yeah, I haven't. Lorraine, I couldn't even get on social media today. I did a little bit actually, but then I just got on. I was like, blah, and I got off, and I took like a 2 hour nap. But and I do that enough where recently that I just know like we are having to rest. We are having to restore ourselves because what did you say? Feeling so much chaos. This massive like the scan and also this massive rise in energy in this past week with the solar flares. We've had some coronal mass injections that are just helping. But when those things help, when the solar activity helps, adds to this higher frequency, it's helping us to clear the chaos that is still remaining. And at the same time, it's work, like helping us is thanks everybody out there, but it's also a lot of work. So yeah, we are all clearing more and more of that chaos. So keep going with the chaos because it's like if it's happening to the darker side of the world, the fragmented parts and the corrupted parts of the world, it's also happening to us. But a lot of us have been working to clear that chaos as we've gone, but it's still like it's amazing when I think I'm done, which we're never going to really be done. But when I think I'm at a good point, I'm like, all right, whatever needs to clear will be easy from here. And then there's a day like today, I'm like, man, I thought I'd gotten rid of all like the major stuff, but here it is again. Love that higher we go, the more we know. Yeah, I like that too. I got to remember that. I firmly believe that, but me moving up, I'm saving them because they can watch me to learn how to do it. Exactly, Tara. And that's it's all being in the models of higher consciousness is our that's what it means for us, whatever that means. You don't have to get on and do videos. I don't know if I'd recommend it, but that's not true. We don't always have to like be the messengers through technology. It's just showing up every day. It's going to the grocery store in this higher consciousness and making eye contact with people. And, like we've been talking about, just using our holy breath that we talked about yesterday. That was such a beautiful message. And I got a couple of DMs about it, like how beautiful of an idea that is, that just us breathing in these higher frequencies and breathing them out is all that is needing to be done to hold this line. So just by doing that, people see that we operate in peace and love and then want to be more in that than they do want to be living in the chaos, because we know how hard that is. We've all been there at one point. Oh, I've got lots of stuff. Lead by example. Yeah. The last 2 days, I've been feeling what I call 3D-ish, very emotional, victim thinking, just trying to do little things. Yeah, Lori, me too. Earlier, I had I had a little like I was in the bathroom. I was like, I just want to I want to be happy again. I want to have fun again. I want to adventure again. So I had a little poo puddle moment where I just stepped into the poo puddle and rubbed the shit all over me and felt sorry for myself. And then the beautiful thing is it doesn't feel as good to be in that as long as I used to allow myself to be in it. And eventually I was like, okay, that chaos passed, and I wiped it off metaphorically and came out of the bathroom and was good for the next couple of minutes. Then I was like, I'm going to take a nap. So yes, totally wiped out last night. Slept for 10 hours straight. Yeah, it was intense last night. It was super, super intense. Completely wiped out. Started around 4 p.m. last night. Still feeling pretty tired. I'm feeling real tired. Hey everyone. Hey Aubrey. Welcome. One of our Ascension Bank members. Tarla. Yes, absolutely. I'm so ready to level up. Let's do this. Me too, man. I'm so ready. Have felt my aura growing out and changing colors recently. I'm feeling more stable. Curious if anyone else is. I've had a couple days this week where I'm like, okay, I think I'm through it. I feel good. And then today. So I don't I would be curious if others are feeling that. And I love that you can see the colors of auras. I don't see that in my own experience. I'm hoping that is coming in eventually because I think that I love color, I love painting and all of the things. So I think that's really cool. And the fact that you felt it growing out, I think like energetically, I could feel that. Like in some days, there it does feel like I feel bigger, I feel wider. I feel like I can give more of an energetic hug. And but today I'm like this. I'm like really pulling myself in because I'm like everybody stay out of my space while I work through my stuff. So, when we become aware of that, I think that's really interesting, Christine, that you said that, because that we can work with our energies and how big are we willing to accept and to give of our energies on those higher frequency days when we're feeling good and we're feeling grounded. Those are the days we can expand out and walk through our neighborhoods or go to the grocery store with that beautiful energetic hug and be beautiful and be, not like, what I mean, like be beautifully energetic. And then there are days when we're like, and this is when, so then there are less energies that can come into our space and we hold the balance and the boundary of our energy. So it's tighter. So not as much can get in so we can protect ourselves. This is one of those days where I had to do that. Your metaphors have helped me so much understand what is happening to me. Yeah, I love metaphors. I try to put everything into metaphors. And that's how it comes to me. My guides know that. So they give me visuals of metaphors that I'll understand, because then I can be like, "Oh, I get that. I get that." Because sometimes I read things online and it's all like in, some I don't want to say crazy as in judgmental, but some talk or words and I'm like, "What? I don't even get. I don't know, understand what that's saying." But as soon as I get a metaphor to make sense of it, then I understand it. And that's how I do a lot of the things on the Schumann. When I do post on the Schumann resonance, a lot of it comes through a metaphor so I can understand what's happening energetically. The reason staying in our hearts and in frequency of love has been so challenging is because the front lines of light workers are tapped into the collective. We aren't just healing ourselves, right? Exactly. Oh, I wish I knew how to say that. Mira key messages. Thank you for sharing that. I want to be able to say your name properly and not butcher it. But yes, that is absolutely right. We are healing a lot. We're carrying a lot of the collective energy for, we're pulling up some of and the beautiful thing is we're pulling up some of that 3D energy, but without internalizing it, like maybe many of us did. And as we are empaths, many of us are empaths. I mean, everybody really is, quite frankly. But for those of us who have known it and we have taken on people's energies because we didn't want other people to be in pain, so we're like, we'll take that. But now we're kind of taking it in so we can dissolve it or we can get rid of it. We're not internalizing it as much. So on those days where you feel really drained, a lot of it probably is collective stuff that you are helping to clear. So y'all are doing an amazing job, and that's exactly what we're here to do. Holding the line is being able to do that work without dipping down as far as we may have in the past. Aubrey yesterday kicked my ass. Yeah. But that is helping this journey be amazing instead of scary. Oh, thank you. Yeah, because it could be scary. It's a weird time. Like you look out in the world, and man, we could all be freaking out, being like, "The world's coming to an end." But it is the world as we know it. But that's the world that was not healthy. That was the world that was keeping us high. That was the world that was keeping us enslaved to those old enslavement codes we talked about earlier this week, and the enslavement codes of scarcity and lack and fear and illness and aging and all of that stuff. We are now transcending that and now operating from brand new codes. And people are going to want those codes, and they got to get them by releasing all of the old codes. So that's for us to then go model living in those higher codes of the 1212 codes we talked about yesterday. As for the front line, we have been constantly bombarded by darkness and thoughts not of our own. The sooner we realize how to discern what is ours and what is from the correct collective. Yeah. And really keeping that boundary. Exactly. We can shut down what doesn't serve the highest good without needing to deal with guilt and remorse as if it were our own darkness. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. For so long, I took so many others fears. People in my family and um, old relationships that I took it on as my own and felt guilty when I first started putting up boundaries. You see her nose; she wants her chin scratched. Get go on. Um, yeah, and stepping away and putting those boundaries up. This past year, it was like that was my year to do it, and there was a lot of grief and a lot of feeling bad at first, but now I'm through that now because I did have a lot of guilt and remorse for letting them go and saying, pretty much saying I can't do your work for you. Not easy. I don't recommend watching the MSN media. It will dim your light. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I usually, yeah, that MSM, man, what that has become is it's quite fascinating on how all of this has rolled out and how those enslavement codes like really got poked in the last few decades through the media and through really the fear-based propaganda that really started to become our programming. I had a rough week, but last night and today I have been bubbly and optimistic. Lucky. My energy heart space is feeling sweet again. All right, good. Well, I'm gonna feed into that. You made me know that there is that experience in the world right now. So thank you, Meraki. Maybe that's what it is. Okay. Aubrey, I saw white flashes of light in my eyes Wednesday, staring at the moon in late afternoon. Interesting. So you're starting to see some guides maybe in physicality. That's what came to me. I don't know if that is what you believe it is in your experience, but either way, it's cool. I love seeing stuff like this. Oh, Meraki. Okay, it's coming together now. Thank you. Um, Hello from Norway. I'm so tired in the body. One day I get so much energy and boom. I wonder if that means boom. It's gone maybe. But yeah, the energy like that's where we are right now. And I have found that in the past year, the ups and the downs have been like this, like a roller coaster. Now I'm finding them kind of balance, I don't know about balancing, leveling out. So it's kind of more like this. There's ups and downs and ups and downs. So today, like I was down, but it hasn't been as far down as I've gone in this, in the past year, really. I feel like holding the line is like I can hold the line, but there are some days you dip under that line and you come back up, and there's some days you go up a little bit. So I think we're all kind of in that space, and maybe I'm getting that scan was for that to see how much we are able to hold the consciousness in a collective frequency where we can be up here as all of this really gets poked and prodded in these next few weeks so it can dismantle. So so even if we dip down a little bit, are we strong enough as a collective in us holding this higher consciousness? Are we strong enough to not go all the way down? And I haven't gotten how it takes a couple days to get the results of a scan. Haven't fully gotten the update on that. I just got the update that there was a scan that was happening. So I'm hoping over the weekend that'll come through. So maybe that'll be on Monday's message. I'm not sure. But yeah, music definitely helps me with these energies, integration. Yeah. And Aubrey, yeah, we talked about that. Like music, if you are drawn to music, to like these are the days. Actually, it's so funny because as soon as I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, he's the messenger I'm supposed to get this message from, because music is that for me. But you know how some days you get in those funks and you're like, I was gonna, like earlier, I was like, I'm gonna paint. And I couldn't. I mean, we're all packed up, y'all. Like we're living out of suitcases because we're just waiting for our exit out of Ukraine, and I couldn't find the suitcase that had my paints in it, and it made me go deeper into the pissed off thing. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop looking. And it never occurred to me to put music on, but I will tell you that after this, I will definitely put music on because music will always take me up an octave, so to speak. But again, remember that tonal messages and tonal frequencies help us rise up. So if music in the 3D realm is a tool for you to remember that. And I say that, I'm saying that like, oh, don't forget, but I have forgotten today. So Aubrey, thank you for saying that, because I will definitely put some music on after this. My husband's in there making dinner and getting that ready, and because it's dinner time on our side of the world almost. So thank you for that. Create music about our awakening. Ooh, I like that. You all wouldn't want me making music. I can listen to it, but I sure as hell can't make it. But I would love somebody to make it. Oh, there is a musician. Oh man, what's his name? I can't remember his name. I'll try to remember it. But he's been making some music about the awakening, and he's all over Instagram right now. Oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking out. But he's got some really fun music about the awakening. My girls have really been feeling these energies. Sleeping is all over the place, up throughout the night, and naps during the day. Yeah, kids especially, because they're wide open vessels. They are wide open. So yeah, it's really important to be able to allow them to move with the energies as best you can. But I know when it's off of your schedule, it's hard. Shreveport, Louisiana. Hello. The other day I had a download so loud and intense I had to sit down. The tone in my ears was so loud, body encompassing. It was so cool. I love that too. That yeah, when we get our downloads and those illuminations that are unique to us, we will feel them just pummel us through the body. Like not pummeling in like a bad way, but like just wash through it. Like you can feel every cell in your body awaken to even more truth. And those illuminations, I love those too. Who said that? The glamazon. Wait, is that who that's? Yeah. I love that feeling, but they do wipe you out, like once everything goes on, because in that moment, when we get a wash of new light, that is a big one for us, a big download, and like because it'll blow out all of the old frequency in that moment. So there's like a massive shift, and it's almost if you have a big pool of water and you throw a big boulder in, there's a lot of water that splashes out, there's a lot of chaos, and that's what happens when you get these big boulders of light that come in, this big flash of light, and you're like, wow. And then eventually the water then kind of evens out, and you come back to a grounded space. But it is really cool to experience those. Snuggles with my puppy have been saving my life. Me too, Tara. You just saw her maybe come up here. She's been hugely. I mean, she is an emotional support dog for sure. Most dogs or most animals are, but she just knows. She's like right up against me constantly. Um, my guides always speak to me through music. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I love that. Cam, Tom. Hello, Tom. Nice to meet you. Now I've got a name to put to your internet face. I get downloads through songs appearing in my head. Ooh, heard creeds. Are you ready? Oh, are you ready? Multiple times this week in my head, played it, and it was so reassuring. Nice, nice. Yeah. Our guides know how to speak to us. Um, if and when I get the patience to find paint, um, in my suitcases, when I paint and I shut down the world, creativity. Let me just say this: it doesn't matter what I like to do, any way in which you like to use creativity, even if it's not through the traditional arts like music or painting or drawing or songwriting, anything like that. Art can be going out for a beautiful walk. Creativity can be just sitting in silence. Creativity can just sit and say, I'm going to drink this cup of tea in silence, and I'm not doing anything else, putting the phone down. So however you are called to create peace within you, that is when most of our downloads will come, and your own individual team knows exactly how to communicate with you. And for me, it's journaling too. Journaling is a creative art that I absolutely love. When I can feel that there's stuff going on, I will grab my journal and go sit in the bed, and I will journal it out, or I will listen to music. So we are all having to be extremely committed to how we are creatively called to stop and to relax outside of binging Netflix, right? Outside of being on our phone, outside of anything that distracts us from pulling these messages in. So pay attention to how you're called to create peace within you and answer that call. If it's to go get a bath, go get a bath in silence and just allow the messages to come in, allow for those downloads to come in. So that, thank you. That's beautiful. Oh, Tom. Okay. Tom McDonald makes woke music. Oh, okay. Sorry. All right. Now, Cam, I'm so confused, but I got it now. Tom McDonald. Oh, I'll check him out. I don't know. I haven't heard of him. Bought a Fender. Nice. Got some guitar going on. Here comes the new me. Oh, I like it. The beds are burning midnight oil, and what the world needs is love. We're the songs for the sweet. Beautiful. Oh, okay. Miraki has awakening music. Okay, we'll have to check it out. I used to do what you're doing, hosting lives and doing readings. Now I channel and create music and art from what I learned through this process. I love it. Well, put your YouTube channel on there. We'll go and see what you're all about. I would love to be open to new things. So okay, I think that's good. I'm about ready to be done. I'm gonna go put some music on, maybe find these paints and paint some stuff tonight, and just work out some of the gunk that moving through me today. This has been a big week on the daily tune-ins. Lots of it's been a big week, I think, because it's been a lot of information that's been kind of a little bit nerve-wracking for me to share. And at the same time, you've all been extremely receptive. So thank you for that. I truly appreciate it. And we'll be back here on Monday. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Love to you all. And for anyone who is feeling who was that, Paul? Sending you so much healing, love, and light, and allow this weekend to move that stuff through you so that you are back and ready to hold the line, because we need all of us healthy and ready and completely committed to holding hands, locking arms, and holding the line while this world kind of shakes loose all of the gunk, so we can move into a higher expression of being. Love to you all so much. Thank you for your support. Mwah. Have a good one. Where's my end stream? Here it is.